remember a friend and I speaking years ago, and they said it's not so important how much you do in the gym. It's more important that you show up and have that habit. Because, like you said, if someone has in their mind that, well, in fact, I wanted to say I like that you have this for all of your advice. You have this real holistic, but also mind body connection in play. Or to say if you didn't sleep well, you're not feeling well, but you had it in your mind that you're going to do 4 sets of 12, but you're just exhausted, like just do as much as you can and then leave, opposed to overdoing it. Otherwise, you're going to risk injury and then you're out for months. Is that typically what you're telling some of your clients?
And it's the 100% trap that people fall into. It all starts Monday type of mentality of
Mm.
I'm going to go all in. And look, I remember when I was younger, I did it too. Me and all my buddies watched Rocky, and then we got up at 6 o'clock in the morning and drank raw eggs and tried to run a mile, and then we threw up and went home and were so sore for the week that we didn't do anything again.
Right.
And so um, until the next time we watch Rocky. So the 100% trap is, I always tell this great statistic that I got from a brilliant man by the name of Dr. John Berardi, who's the founder of something called Precision Nutrition, one of the best nutrition coaching companies in the world. And we talked to him on my podcast, and he talked about where they did statistics on over, tens of thousands of people that have been through his program. And they looked at just how compliant they were with the program. And what they found is people who had as little as 20% compliance, meaning they only followed the program prescribed 20% of the time, still got results. The only
Oh,
thing that showed when people failed is when they didn't keep showing up. So even if you did it, you're supposed to do it 5 days a week and you only did it one, you still got results. Now, obviously, as you committed more, you got better results up to a point. So people who did it 40% of the time got better results in 20, and 60 better than 40, and then 80 better than 60. But once you got to 80, the difference in results from 80 to 100 were not only minuscule, but some of the people who tried to do 90 and 100 actually had more stress that was, the juice wasn't worth the squeeze for that 100%. So that's why I tell everybody, I'm going to have you follow the 80-20 rule. Whatever I tell you in terms of nutrition, whatever I tell you in terms of exercise, if you follow it 80% of the time, the other 20% of the time, you're going to have some grace. And you'd almost rather have that, because everybody that that's ever done all in on whatever Hollywood diet it was, or whatever newest fad training program they're going to do, they go all in, and they very few of them last. I mean, the statistics show that 60 to 70% of people drop out of the gym within the first 12 weeks.
right.
And so that all in mentality doesn't work. And so I'd rather give you some grace and say, this is what I'm looking for, and over the long range, and you will get better results at 80% than you probably will at 100. The only exceptions to that are going to be if you have a deadline. Now, if you have a deadline and you say, and a deadline, what I mean by is, okay, well, I have to be ready by this date because I'm working with an athlete, and that's the first day of the season. That's when their fight is, or their opening match, or whatever it is.
Right.
They're not going to change that for them. So they have to be ready by it. And if they're not, so we may start them at 80%. And as we get closer, if we're not ready and we're not on track to be ready at 100%, for a couple of weeks, we may need to go at 90 or 100%, but we're going to go back to 80 once the season's over, once that event is over.
Right. Now, is there anything to be said for Berardi's principle that, or his studies that found that if they did 80%, it was as good as, not as good, but close to 100? Is there anything to be said that maybe they should just design the programs as 80% of what the 100% is, if the gain is so minuscule, so then people can feel like they're doing all of it and they're not only doing 80%?
No, I think it's important to make people part of the process and empower them and get them to understand that it's okay, that you don't have to be, because it's, again, it was the stress of having to do it 100%. Because I think if you did that and just adjusted it down, people are going to feel stressed doing the 80% that they think is 100%, and they'll do 80% of that, right? So
Okay.
it's the more of the
All
stress
right.
of thinking, and there's a great book that I just finished by Bornstein. It's called You Can't Screw This Up. And he talks about the stress. As soon as we say, I don't care what it is, if it's the no prune diet, even if you think prunes are the most disgusting thing in the world, as soon as I tell you can't eat prunes, your body just has a natural curiosity that maybe a prune might be good right now, and why can't I have a prune? And uh, did I do something wrong that I don't deserve a prune? And like all those things are going to come into your head that it's just so much more
Interesting.
stressful that it's not like I said, the juice isn't worth the squeeze. I'd rather have you understand that it's okay. You just got to get back on the horse and keep showing up tomorrow.